Hello friends. After 4 years, we are moving away from Bali. Coming here was one of the best decisions of our lives, and I realize it is a complete privilege to be able to be here. And a big thank you to the locals who have given us the ultimate welcome, along with everyone else who's made our Bali experience so great. But the time has come, and there are reasons why we're leaving. Many have asked, why would we ever leave? Where are we going next? And most importantly, are the cats coming with you? So I'm interrupting my regular podcast programming to share more on these amazing adventures we've had, why we're making this big life update, and giving you some really honest thoughts. So let's get into it. Here's how it's gonna go. I'm gonna share our story of how we ended up here and why you should definitely come and why it's amazing, and share the real life things that some people may not find amazing and some honest thoughts around that, why we're leaving, and then what is next. Now, I have to share, this does not represent every experience and every thought I have. I just could not fit it in to such a short time period. So I'm just gonna hit the highlights. But let's start off with our story. So 8-ish years ago, Aaron and I were living in San Diego, and we said, hey, let's go explore, let's go adventure. And we've spent the past 7 years living abroad, and the past 4 years specifically only being in Bali. When we first started, we went to Vietnam, spent a couple months there, spent a couple months in Bali. We lived in Mexico for a couple months. We lived in Colombia for a couple of months. When COVID hit, we went around different parts of the States for a couple months, and really we were trying to get back to Bali because, as you'll see, it just really called to us to want to have more of an extended stay there. So when Bali opened back up after COVID, we came here and we've been here since. And really when we came back, we just kept extending year after year. And it has honestly been the adventure of a lifetime. Here are some of all of my favorite things about Bali and some of my favorite memories and things that I'll definitely miss. The first is just the local culture is unlike anything else you'll find, and it's why Bali has become what it is today, because it's such a unique hub. Like, Bali is an island in the greater Indonesia, and Indonesia is mostly Muslim. However, Bali, the island, is its own unique spin on Hinduism. And so the people have their own special ceremonies where you'll see them dress up, and they have tons of parades all of the time. They have very unique temples, and the outfits that they wear are so beautiful. And they have Silent Day, and they have Oga Ogus, like the monster looking things. Like, it is very cool. And everyone here is so kind. I can go to a restaurant that I would go to frequently many years ago, and they would still know my name. So they are very welcoming, very kind, and very just that island life, that everything's chill and you can relax and it's not a big deal, which I will definitely miss. The other thing I definitely miss is scooter life. So most people, you just own a moped scooter here. You just got the sun shining down on you, your hair blowing in the wind and whipping around corners. It is just so much fun and definitely a highlight. Also a highlight is the fitness culture here. It is like the gym capital of the world. There are so many gyms here, and they all are incredible for what they offer. Generally, they have a vibe to them. Generally, they also have a recovery center with hot tubs and steam rooms and saunas and pools and cafes, like the whole thing. There's so many yoga studios, really any fitness thing you want to get into. There's paddle, there's run club, there's rock climbing, there's surfing, there is like singing lessons I did, there's dance studios and all different kinds of dance studios. There is really endless things that you can do here, especially if you're into like fitness and activities. Along with that is their healthy food culture. So there is the local dishes, which I think are delicious, but then there's a lot of Western style cafes, which really focus on healthier versions of food and generally are more macro friendly. Many restaurants you can find will have the macros on them because they really cater to those fitness people and that fitness lifestyle because it is so abundant here. So it is very easy to go out to eat and still be directional with food, not feel like you're like weighed down with dairy and inflammatory oils or bad portions. You can easily get protein with every meal in different sizes. Like, it is really nice and easy to eat healthy here, which is a huge bonus. There's also a big like cafe and coffee culture. So most restaurants that you go to are gonna have a vibe. The coffee is incredible here, like the cappuccinos and the lattes. I can go to any cafe and their cappuccino is gonna be like absolutely delicious. So definitely gonna miss that coffee culture. But along with that, every restaurant, every place generally, like there is an aesthetic standard here where everything's Instagrammable is basically what people would say. But it makes a difference even not for Instagram, right? Walking into a place has a vibe. Like the decorations are so nice. It's cute. It's cozy. Like it's really unbeatable in terms of like the concentrated amount of like nicely decorated places here. And along with that, the aesthetics for the places, but also the people. Most of the people here are 20s, 30s, 40s. They are fit and they are hot. Like it is, you ride around your scooter, you're gonna see at least 10 people passing by, like girl, guy. They're all gonna have like muscles popping. They're gonna be in little bikinis or little workout outfits and they're gonna look hot. And it actually is really cool to be in that environment where you're surrounded by people who take care of themselves, who are into fitness. A lot of people are also entrepreneurs, which is nice here. Like I've met so many other business owners or just people who are doing and living life differently. And there's so many clubs and communities and meetups and dinners and all of that to have access to, along with people who are from all over the world. So a lot of my friends are from the UK. I have a friend from Africa, lots of people here from Australia. There's many Russians here. There are people from, honestly, not that many from the States actually, but I've met a handful of people from Canada. I've met people from all over Europe. So it is really cool to hear these just different life experiences and really just have access to the rest of the world through real people's lens. So the other thing that is a plus is the cost of living. So I would say for locals, it's about a fifth of what it is in the US. However, generally, if you are not a local here, you're going to be doing non-local things that are a bit more made for the visitors, like those healthy cafes that I'm talking about. And so that is, I would say, about a half as what it is in the US, especially food places. Most times I can get lunch for $5. I can get a coffee for $1 to $2, maybe $3 sometimes. A 60-minute massage is $20. Rent, I would say, is becoming more aligned with the US, maybe slightly lower, but it's definitely getting up there. I will say the gym prices here are way more expensive though. It's like as prices like your Equinox. They're generally $120 to $200 plus. Now, that's not all gyms, but those are like the main ones that you see. They're definitely more expensive than at home. So it really depends, but overall, cost of living is definitely lower. Okay, two more things that I want to call out. In the access to adventure is another big pro in Bali, because you can take your scooter on adventure to different parts of the island that just offer a different vibe, a different energy. There's Ubud, which I'm not sure if you've heard of, but it's the yoga center with so many different yoga and healing and those types of experiences. There's the mountains that's where Aaron took me and where we got engaged, which is a totally different experience. There's more local villages that you can go and visit. There's more of a bay type area. There's more of cliffs with bigger beaches. And there's also smaller islands off of Bali where you can go snorkeling, you can go out surfing, you can go scuba diving. Like the access to adventures, especially those beach type of adventures, is really endless. There's so many other more islands that I went to. I went swimming with whale sharks on a totally different island. The access you have to take a scooter ride for a couple of hours or maybe a ferry ride for a couple of hours to be in a completely different area and have that beach style vacation for a relatively super cheap price is pretty amazing. And lastly, the thing I will miss the most in the highlight is the community that we have built here. I have my best friends, my Bali besties, like Holly and Henham, who everything that I've just listed, I've done all of this with them. And then also I meet people like Angelina, who's just an amazing human being from Switzerland, who now I co-work with every week. And so we're still going to do that, but we'll just have to do it online. I have the dance team that I'm a part of, which really feels like they're like my teammates now, right? And so training with them is just so special, and performing with them, so we're definitely gonna miss that. And then we have the Undefeated Gym, which all of the like bodybuilder type friends we have go there. That Erin is a co-owner of that gym, so we'll definitely be coming back, if anything, to do gym things for maybe a month here and there. However, you probably hear this and say like, okay, well, why would you ever leave? That sounds amazing. But people who live here say you have to leave from time to time to then come back and love Bali. So I actually don't recommend coming for just a week or two. You really get the biggest benefit when you come for a longer stay, like a month or two, because it's less of a tourist destination and more of a lifestyle. So why are we leaving? There are two main reasons. The first one is we feel complete on this chapter. And once you feel like you've done it, you can either decide to say, okay, I'm gonna go deeper in this relationship now, in this future, or I'm gonna move on to something else and take a different path with the future. And we have decided the latter. But with this, and when you make that decision, I'm not gonna lie and say that it's just all like rainbows and butterflies here. I'm going to share some honest thoughts just so you get a full picture of what it is really like to live here and some of the things that we're definitely not going to miss. And I have to add a disclaimer on this because I know it's a privilege that we get to be here and we are in their country. So this is by no means saying that any of this is wrong. It's just different. And I also have a lot of Indonesian friends here who talk lots of crap about the US for good reasons, for so many things that they're like they don't like about it. And so it's really just things of personal preference and things that I think are insights that would be like valuable for people who haven't been here to see. I also know for some of these things, if we set up and went down the other path of like, okay, no, we're fully setting up everything for the long term here, some of these things like do have other alternatives. But the one that does not have an alternative, that is clean water, clean drinking water. And so what happens is you get Bali belly, and Bali belly is basically food poisoning, and you can get it from anything. It seems like anytime, anywhere, even if you're super careful and don't drink the water, it's just inevitable to happen. Aaron has it right now. He's calling it his last like FU to him before he leaves. And it's basically food poisoning, right? And it's not fun, miserable, and there's long-term effects. But you have to order your water in, like 5 gallons that you see in offices sometimes. And so we have that for our house, which is great. But it's more difficult to cook your food because if you want to boil anything, pasta, rice, if you want to clean anything, you're really just like holding it down and letting the water come out to then be able to do your like cooking process. So it does become a little limited there. I also like do not react well to it, or I can't wash my hair with the water. So I have a water pump and I fill up a cup with water to then dump water over my head to be able to wash my hair. It's really not ideal. It's not fun. But if I don't do that, then my scalp reacts really badly. So I am looking forward to being able to wash my hair. Other things is just the homes and the infrastructure. We've had 12 snakes in our yard in the past year and a half. 12 snakes. One was in my bathroom. I opened the door to my bathroom and there it is. But there's so many ants, bugs. Like it's just inevitable because it's very difficult to seal things here. So you will really become a lot closer with nature and all of the bugs that come with that. Along with that is mold. It is an island. And so even though our villa right now, it's beautiful and it's stunning and I love it and it is brand new, there is still mold in it because just the you have rainy season, you have the heat, you have the humidity. It's kind of inevitable. Lastly, along with the infrastructure is just traffic. Traffic is pretty bad because the roads are so small and the roads are so limited. You kind of end up living in this 2-mile bubble where everything is located. It's just part of it. So the next thing I would say that I won't miss is not having access to things like different food sources, especially being a nutritionist. Lean ground beef, I would love. Again, these are just personal preferences and just kind of give some insights into daily life. But being able to meal prep and have seedless cucumbers or shredded cheese or shredded carrots is nice. Just these little things that add up. Supplements is another one. It's pretty hard to find supplements here compared to at home. And if you do find something, anything imported is way more expensive. For example, for Aaron's birthday, I got him a Monster Energy drink, and it's difficult to find. And then it's also $10 for one Monster Energy drink can. So things like protein shakes or energy drinks are really, they don't have single serving of that here, really. And then protein powders are a little limited and pretty expensive. And then all these different protocols and things I do as a nutritionist that I would love to order, it's pretty limited here. And then I would say along with the access to things is they have something similar to Amazon. It does have a lot of different options, but if you order something, you really never know if you're gonna get it. Today I just got a confirmation for something I ordered 2 weeks ago that they actually didn't have it in stock. And so then my order got canceled. And that happens pretty frequently, that reliability factor there. So this is where I go back to, I'm in their country, and so I need to adapt to their way of life, even if it's just different of how I think and was brought up. So for example, island time is real. Quality work is very different, where my expectations and ingrained in my brain would be, okay, this is the due date, this is the time, this is how you follow up, this is the quality of work, where it's just way more chill and relaxed. To someone outside of that can feel challenging to really get things done. For example, we had a bike mechanic come and he said, okay, I'll be back in an hour. I've been here long enough. I know he's not gonna be back in an hour. It's just said. And then maybe I'll get the bike a couple hours later, maybe I'll get it the next day, maybe a couple days after that. And everything is like that. We had a painter come that was painting our roof, and there's now paint all in the floors of, the outside tiles, the inside tiles, just from where he was just dripping it on the floors because he was painting the roof. But it's not his job to do the floor, so he didn't clean it up. He just painted the ceilings, left all of the garbage he came with. It's just a different way of life, right? And same with paying for things or how things operate. Every month for all of your bills, you have to do a wire transfer. And because I have foreign bank accounts, that's a whole process in itself. But reoccurring payments isn't a thing here. And having access to online banking isn't fully a thing here. So you also have to screenshot and download and then send a text message with proof that you paid for every single thing. Another example of this is there is not a reoccurring payment for a cell phone package. Every month could just be out and about and then cut. I don't have service. And so then I've got to go to Wi-Fi, I've got to transfer the money into the app, and then I've got to reset up the package to pay for my next month. And then you have to do that every single month. And so it is just these little things that really do add up. Like when you've done it all and you feel complete with a place, then these things add up and you really start to miss your normal daily life things that you've had previously. Now, there are going to be pros and cons with everywhere you live, and definitely where we're going next. The second reason for why we're leaving, we are going to have our mountain air. So we are moving to Salt Lake City, Utah in just a few weeks, and we fell in love with Utah over the pandemic. We went there for 4 months and we mountain bike, we snowboard, There's so many gyms there. The fitness scene is huge. I would see people out like biking together in groups, people dirt biking in the mountains. The hiking club I was in with all females, it was awesome. The entrepreneur scene is big there as well. There's a big airport. The access to the mountains, you have 10 different mountains you can go to that are all within 30 minutes, which is amazing. And there are, within 4 to 6 hours of Salt Lake City, you have big adventure land like Montana and Idaho, in Moab, in Havasupai, in Arizona. So it is just an adventure hub that we see ourselves in. We want to move there and really set up our home base. When we went there before and said, wow, this place is amazing. When we are ready to settle and go into the next chapter of our lives, this is the spot we want to be. And now we're just ready for that. So that is our next stop, Salt Lake City. And we'll come back to Bali. As I've mentioned, I know we're going to miss it because of all the things I've listed. And the final question, will you bring the cats? Of course, they are our babies. They are my special babies. They are 3 years old, and we'll be bringing the cats in cabin on the flights with us. There are 4 flights. We'll have 4 suitcases that we'll have shoved our whole life into, and we'll have 2 cats. So wish us luck, and I'll see you next week on the Create Your Shape podcast.